Welcome to Wisdom Trek with Gramps. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, and we are on day 2595 of our trek. The purpose of Wisdom Trek is to create a legacy of wisdom, to seek out discernment and insights, and to boldly grow where few have chosen to grow before. In today's Wisdom Nugget, I'll guide you through the winding trails of wisdom, insight, and spiritual truths found in God's Word. I'm delighted that you're joining me today as we continue our exploration of Psalms, where we discover authentic human experiences and God's faithful presence in every situation. Today we'll journey through Psalm 55 verses 1 through 8, a profoundly emotional prayer where King David reveals the depth of his distress, anxiety, and longing for escape. This psalm speaks profoundly to those moments in life where pressure feels overwhelming, relationships break down, and we simply desire relief and peace. Let's begin reading Psalm 55 verses 1 through 8 from the New Living Translation. Listen to my prayer, O God. Do not ignore my cry for help. Please listen and answer me, for I am overwhelmed by my troubles. My enemies shout at me, making loud and wicked threats. They bring trouble on me and angrily hunt me down. My heart pounds in my chest. The terror of death assaults me. The fear and trembling overwhelm me. I can't stop shaking. Oh, that I had wings like a dove, then I would fly away and rest. I would fly far away to the quietness of the wilderness. How quickly I would escape, far from the wild storm of hatred. David begins the psalm with an earnest plea. Listen to my prayer, O God. Do not ignore my cry for help. Please listen and answer me, for I am overwhelmed by my troubles. In these first two verses, David immediately sets the tone for urgency. He cries out desperately, seeking God's attention and intervention. David doesn't attempt to sugarcoat his emotion. Instead, he lays bare his soul, expresses openly how overwhelmed he truly feels. In an ancient Israelite worldview, prayer was never merely a ritual or a routine. It was deeply personal. People approached God believing he was near, involved, and willing to respond. David's urgent tone reflects this belief vividly. He's calling out not to a distant deity, but to a personal, loving God who hears the heartfelt cry of his children. David's words here capture our experiences vividly. When we are overwhelmed, our hearts instinctively turn to God, seeking his comfort and rescue. David reminds us that honest prayers, even desperate prayers, are not only acceptable, but deeply welcomed by God. Imagine a small child who is lost in a crowded market, anxiously crying out for their parents. They don't politely whisper, they cry out loudly, urgently, until they are heard. This is how David prays, like a frightened child, desperate for attention of a loving father. Do we bring genuine feelings to God? Are we comfortable expressing our depths of distress, anxiety, and need? Well, Psalm 54 reassures us that we can and should approach God openly and honestly. He welcomes our authenticity. Next, David describes specifically what is causing his turmoil. My enemies shout at me, making loud and wicked threats. They bring trouble upon me and angrily hunt me down. My heart pounds in my chest. The terror of death assaults me. Fear and trembling overwhelm me. I can't stop shaking. These verses convey a deep emotional and physical distress. David's pain isn't abstract, it's intensely personal. His enemies aren't distant, they are actively pursuing him, speaking threats and accusations loudly, causing constant stress and fear. David describes vivid physical reactions, a pounding heart, trembling, and an overwhelmed sense of dread. Modern psychologists might recognize these symptoms as anxiety or panic attacks, experiences not foreign to people today, but equally real thousands of years ago. In this context of David's life, these enemies could have included Saul, his own son Absalom, or close friends who betrayed him, situations that deeply wounded his heart and spirit. The threat wasn't hypothetical. David felt genuine fear for his life. In ancient Israel, community and relationships were crucial. Threats from close acquaintances or family brought not only physical danger, but profound emotional and spiritual pain. Think of a friend or a family member who suddenly turns against you. The pain of betrayal magnifies anxiety and fear. David's descriptions help us to realize that great leaders, known for their courage and strength, experience deep distress when facing betrayal and opposition. Have you ever experienced emotional or physical symptoms of intense stress or conflict? Well, Psalm 55 reminds us that we're not alone. God understands anxiety and invites us to bring those overwhelming emotions directly to him. David then expresses his heartfelt longing for escape. Oh, that I had wings like a dove, then I would fly away and rest. I would fly away to the quiet of the wilderness. How quickly I would escape, far from this wild storm of hatred. These beautiful verses expresses David's desire to simply flee, to rise above the conflict and disappear to a quiet, peaceful refuge. David imagines himself like a dove, known in ancient Israel as a gentle bird symbolizing peace, innocence, and escape. David's wish for wings symbolizes our universal human desire to avoid painful situations, to find rest from the relentless pursuit and conflicts of life. In these verses, we see David's humanity so clearly. He is king, a warrior, a leader, yet even he sometimes longed for simple escape and peace. Interestingly, David mentions the quiet of the wilderness, a place he had known intimately. Early in his life, he fled Saul into the wilderness and found solace there. Now in his current turmoil, he again desires the solitude and peace, far from hatred, anger, and betrayal. Imagine you being caught in a severe storm. The wind and the rain are battering you relentlessly. Your instinct is to seek shelter immediately, a quiet, dry, peaceful place away from the chaos. And that's what David craves emotionally and spiritually, refuge from life's storm. Have you ever felt like running away from stress, conflict, or a difficult situation? I know I have. It's a common reaction, deeply human and entirely understandable. David's honest expression encourages us to admit this feeling to God without shame, trusting in Him to provide comfort and genuine refuge. Here are a few key insights from Psalm 55, verses 1 through 8. First, God welcomes our urgent, heartfelt prayers. Next, honesty before God and our emotional state brings healing and comfort. Betrayal and relational conflicts cause genuine relief and profound pain. Physical and emotional anxiety are common experiences, known even to biblical heroes. And finally, longing for escape or refuge is human. It's normal and understandable. Psalm 55 verses 1 through 8 offers powerful lessons of authenticity and trust. David teaches us that we don't need to pretend to be strong or fearless when we approach God. He understands deeply human emotions of fear, betrayal, and anxiety, and longing for escape. And he invites us to share those openly with him. Rather than ignoring or minimizing these feelings, let's follow David's example. Bring your true self, your honest struggle, and your deepest fears to the Father who sees, understands, and comforts. When life storms overwhelm you, may you find refuge and peace in His presence. Thank you for joining me today on our Wisdom Trek. May David's heartfelt prayer of Psalm 55 inspire and comfort you, encouraging you to trust God deeply, even amid the greatest struggles. Until the next time, my friends, may God's wisdom guide your steps, and may His peace fill your hearts. And if you found this podcast insightful, please subscribe and leave us a review. Then encourage your friends and family to join us and come along with us tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, creating a legacy. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, but most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal. As we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and create a great day every day. See you next time for more daily wisdom.